Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the Amazfit Arc. This is a Bluetooth fitness tracker by Xiaomi, which is a subsidiary of Xiaomi, and they produce fitness trackers exclusively, and they're usually a bit more premium and elegant as well as refined looking than the Mi Band series, which are cheaper, but these offer a bit of extra functionality and they're usually designed to look a bit more distinctive, and the Arc is a good example of that. So the Arc retails for $50. You can find some links down below provided by GearBest, and this one reminds me of a cross between something by Jawbone with its prism-like effect on the band and how it has a very sleek and elegant looking appeal. However, at $50, I do think that it's a little bit on the pricey side of the spectrum for a fairly straightforward fitness tracker without too many extras as far as features are concerned. It does have an optical heart rate sensor, so it will detect and continuously record that throughout your sessions and push that to the companion app. It of course records your activity by form of your distance, calories burned, and steps, in addition to being sleep tracking, so your light and deep sleep by way of polysomnography. And it has an OLED touch screen display which will last you for over 20 days, so the battery life is extremely long. Despite the fact that it only has a 70 milliamp hour capacity, it lasts this long thanks to the usage of a very energy efficient Bluetooth and accelerometer chipset according to Xiaomi. It's also completely waterproof, so IPX67 certified, so you can take it for a shower or for a swim and it would still survive. So again, the packaging here is very professional looking. You can have some basic specs about the features located on the front, and otherwise it's just a simple pull tab on the bottom of the box which you can lift up to have access to the fitness tracker on the inside. Now, the tracker's design is definitely different from what I've seen previous fitness trackers on the market look like, and that's because it protrudes from the edges of the band, which again has this prism effect. Again, like I said, reminds me of a Jawbone device, and it certainly is distinctive. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it does have an overall fairly premium look. Other accessories are pretty scarce. There's just a rechargeable cable, which is a proprietary magnetic-based adapter that will stick automatically onto the back of the unit, has the Amazfit logo embedded on it, and it is proprietary, so make sure you don't lose it. And there is a instruction or a user guide that's fairly well documented and tells you how to set it up with the companion app and access the basic features. Finally, if we take a quick look at the design of the Arc first, it's called the Arc because of the kind of curved display or the curved plastic on the very front of the unit, which is made out of this pretty premium scratch-resistant material. It's not a complete touchscreen like most fitness trackers. It only has a small touch-sensitive button on the side here, which you can tap on to access the various features, and it's fairly responsive as you navigate through the various functionalities. So it has an OLED display which is both energy efficient and supposedly bright enough to be seen outdoors. It still struggles a little bit if you have it under direct light. It glares pretty easily. However, it is again a pretty energy efficient solution that works decently, and the display size I think is adequate for the overall size of the unit. So the sides here, what looks like it's made out of aluminum, is actually a composition material. It's more of a plasticky build just to make it a bit more lightweight and to bring costs down a little bit. And on the very back you can see some additional branding by Amazfit and the optical heart rate sensor. The band itself, which is made out of this soft touch rubber material, feels pretty grippy and textured, and wearing it's pretty comfortable as well. It's a unisex based band, so it's going to fit both men and women, and it's a one size fit all. After downloading the free Amazfit app, you set up a profile by uploading your photo as well as your height, so it gets a more accurate read of your stride length and data, so it's a bit more calibrated with the sensors. You do need to set up a password and give them your email first for registration purposes. So sometimes if you exit out the app, you have to re-pair and re-enter your password for the process, just for the sake of security. And you can see there that it automatically pushes software updates to the Arc. So when you first take it out of the packaging, it takes a few minutes to update the software so that everything is ready to go. So this is what the basic interface looks like. It's pretty straightforward and easy to use. You can add multiple devices. So here we have the Amazfit Arc. It says that we've just synced up. There's also a battery indication status. So right now we have 86%, and it was charged 156 days ago because it was a factory unit that was sitting in a warehouse. And from here I can also locate the Amazfit by tapping on this key. So the device device will start to vibrate. And I can also set up the position to a certain arm and reorient the display. I can also turn on certain gestures, such as rotate the wrist to switch the display on. So when this function is turned on, I can simply flick my wrist and the display will pop up and I can take a quick look at the time. I can also take a look at my firmware update and the version that the watch is running on. Other settings, I can quickly turn on alarms that will wake me up by vibration, for instance, which are pretty useful for sleeping, and notifications. So if I have a new call or text message, it's also going to vibrate. Here's what the main screen of the app looks like. It's very intuitive and easy to use. You have access to a number of steps taken out of your goal. I can swipe to the right to look at calories burned out of my goal, and then the top here gives me a bit of info about the paired or connection status using Bluetooth. And finally, the top left here gives me my profile where I can change my image and look at my units, my height, as well as my daily goal in terms of average steps and sleep. So what's nice about this particular tracker is I don't have to enter the specific sleeping mode in order for it to start tracking my sleep. I simply lie in my bed and sleep or perform any activities as normal, and it will detect that using algorithms and push it over to the phone. So it's fairly intelligent in that way. Down below here, I have access to my sleep and of course my heart rate and some basic notifications, including steps, how much calories I've burned, and some quick notices that will pop up depending on which goals I've met throughout the day. And in terms of my heart rate, it is a fairly accurate sensor. Again, most of these optical sensors, which are on their second or third generation by now, have done a pretty good job as far as compared to bulkier and more professional grade trackers, and this is no exception. You can see that I have my recording throughout the day. I have a height over here of 103 beats per minute, and then you can also do a quick label after it records your heart rate, such as were you comfortable, were you active, were you feeling good, and also gives you a quick graph on the side here that tells you what is the optimal heartbeats per minute according to your profile and how much fat you should be burning at particular points in time. So I can also start recording a heart rate instantly just by tapping on that key, and you can see the corresponding icon begin to flash on the Amazfit Arc. Of course, it's also a continuous reader, so it can be set up to record that heart rate, let's say once every 30 minutes or an hour, so it does this automatically. But if you do it manually, you have the benefit of assigning tags, like for instance, I was quiet and I was pretty comfortable and I was feeling okay. I can save this so that at a future date I can see what I was feeling at that particular point and have a better indicator. Now, it's not super intelligent in the sense that it's not going to analyze your heartbeats per minute and warn you if something is not going very well. It's not going to automatically call the hospital. And it's not going to know just by analyzing your big data or your personal data for this matter. So that's just one of the few limitations. It's not the most comprehensive tracker on the market. It certainly isn't that. It's really just a simple, straightforward tracker that you might wear on a day-to-day basis, and you don't need the most data in the world, but you want something that's easy to use and easy to read. So anyways, that's the heart rate function. It works pretty well. As far as the tracking is concerned in the syncing, it does this automatically as well, since again it is a continuous heart rate tracker. After about 30 minutes it tries to sync up using Bluetooth and repair, so it continuously is fairly updated. What's read on the monitor gets pushed over to the phone pretty quickly, so there's not a huge delay. If you do want to sync automatically, you can also press down or drag down from the main screen, and that's going to quickly sync up between the phone as well as to the track. So that's the Amazfit Arc, a sub $50 fitness tracker with optical heart rate sensor and a fairly stylish and eye-catching design. It also has a very long battery life. It's rated at around 20 days, and I would say it will get you roughly 2 weeks if you have it continuously synced up to your phone. If you turn the syncing off and you only, let's say, push data to your device at the end of every 2 weeks, it's going to last you for the full 20 days. The fact that it's waterproof means that you can take it to the shower, and then in your regular activities you can still wear it without really noticing that it's there. So it's a very unobtrusive and easy to manage and easy to use fitness tracker, and for that I think that Xiaomi were successful. Of course, at this price it's not as low cost as other generic Shenzhen based trackers on the market, and that's because Xiaomi and Xiaomi is no longer the same company that they once were 5 to 6 years ago when they were first new to the market. They've now established a bit of the brand name, and they've done well in crafting solid hardware and solid software that sets them apart from other low-cost Chinese counterparts. And that's why they've marketed the Amazfit Arc slightly more expensively and also made it to look a bit more elegant and different from what we've seen in the past. So I would say that if you are looking for a simple, no-frills fitness tracker, this is a decent option to consider, especially if you want that extra battery life. However, it's not perfect. I still think the screen glares a little bit too easily, and it doesn't have any advanced features like blood pressure measurement, blood oxygen levels, and other fancy notifications that you might find in a bit more, slightly more expensive trackers, maybe $20 or $30 more. So that's just something to quickly keep in mind. But otherwise, this is a very solid tracker, and I would think that if you do like what you see in terms of the design, the hardware and the performance stacks up as well. You can check out more details about this in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the Amazfit Arc.